welcome to my container. It's a 40 by 8, actually by 9. This is to help expedite us getting out of this place and move down south. So, this is pretty much one of those, it's a one-time use container. I've got 4 double doors along the side of it here, and scooch that down a bit. My cameras are dead. I don't know what's going on. It's not like we're in Antarctica here, but it is cold. But I'm in the process here of putting some plywood along this wall of the trailer side, and to help facilitate the packing and being able to put some shelving in here and latch it down. I think we're going to use E-track, but you can see there's hooks, or not hooks, but cinch points at the top and then at the bottom of the trailer. And I want to keep those exposed, so that means I got to elevate the plywood up a bit to keep the bottom ones exposed. To do that, I'm going to use those 4x4s, and at first I'm going to see if with the 2x4 on top, stacked on top of the 4x4, see if that elevates it decently. I did a 2x4 on end, and it was fine, but I think it was a little bit lower at the bottom than the top. So I'm going to see if I did it on the length and, you know, like standing up and such. And that just seemed to be a little bit lower at the bottom than the top. So I'm going to see, I had these 4x4s with the 2x4s screwed onto them for the stake bed trailer, one of the trailers. So I'm going to see if that works. And unfortunately, since I have the phone here and my camera's working hootski, I'll just bring you back when I get that set up here and show you what I'm doing. My little Harbor Freight heater works fine. I've had this light for a long time, got it off of some garage sale thing. It seems to work alright. Freestanding. Throws off a little bit of light in here, for sure. Alright, let's let me use those and see how those fare. Much better. You can see the gap up there, and you can kind of see the gap down there by the 2x4, 4x4. So I put a piece of 1x4 on the bottom of the 4x4, and that is just about right. 2 2x4s stacked up was too low. 2x4 on the edge was too low. 4x4 and 2x4 was too tall. 4x4 1x just right. So that means I don't have to hole saw around them, you know, to make a gap for them. I'll put a hook in just fine without having to relieve the plywood around the bottom. So now I gotta go look at my fasteners and check that scene out. I bought some. I'm contemplating what I want to use to go into this. So let me go check it out. I might use some roofing, metal roof screws. Though their head sticks out a little bit. They're self-tap, you know, they're self-drilling, so. Alright, I got one screw in just to get it up there. And I'm almost now thinking if I shouldn't bring this over this lip over to the equivalent of this here, because that structural here, I'm doing this one here because I'm trying to get a drink down me. Here's what I've been trying. Seems alright. I've never been a big one for energy drinks, but this is a structural piece. Man, that's pretty solid steel. That's like 3/16 maybe. And this is a little bit thinner. That's the interior sheet. But I have this butted right up like against to here. Alright, that's cold as shit in here. I got 2 boards started. I don't know what was going on with my other camera. I think the cold just freaked it out. The batteries would shut down on it, and this one was dead, so it's in action. But I got 2 boards up. Get a couple boards up tonight. Just continue on. It's like freaking cold. For us, it's cold. Some other places of the world, it's like frigid cold. In other places, this isn't so bad for winter, but it's like 15 degrees out, so kind of cold, like no matter where you are. But anyway, you can see I'm just using kind of a roof screw because they were bigger gauge. I think I'm gonna get some better screws to deal with on this. This end plate here, I'm gonna have to move it in some or drill and run something in, because that's a pretty solid freaking structural component to the container there. I'll come back to that. Right now, just want to get some more of these boards up and go from there. All right. my next victim here. Alright, every time I had these boards in the bottom here the other way, and it seemed like the last 2 or 3 of these, it was the forward facing side was drooping. I have to kick it up. I don't understand why it was doing that, so I swapped my 2 pedestals around. Let's see how this works. It's a whole lot worse. 4x4s with the same pieces of wood nailed to the bottom of them. Not too bad. Stay there, board. Use my big butt for something. Oh, yeah. Snot running out of my nose. Shit giving me a hard time. half of them up. Put up a few more this evening here. Get this thing rocking and rolling. Get it loaded. Get it loaded up. Get the hell out of Dodge. All right, let's carry on here in my damp, dark, cold workspace. Things are, I'd take my shirt off though. It's getting too sweaty. Got my hoodie on, my twerking pants, and my new pair of narrow work shoes. There. And just a couple of DeWalt's. That's a Stanley Fat Max. Gloves, some screws. I'm not sure if that's what I'm going to use for the rest of this. And plywood. You know the scene. We all been there doing something similar at some point in time. All right, well, not getting another one in there, so that's the way that's going to be. Got to get the screws lined out and drilled, but that I think is going to be, unless I rip this to fit there, but I'm not so sure it's necessary. There's latching there, there's some lashing eyes there, so I think we'll be good. So I'm gonna shut it down for the evening and go eat, go do my job tomorrow, and see about what else I can get done in the container. Hi, Jack. What you doing, big guy? All right. That's the big guy. That's Stumpy. Hi, Thumper. I'm back. And I'm going to go ahead and start marking my lines for drilling holes, for drilling screws. And you can see it's tight at the bottom, flush at the top, gapped in the center. Some of this wood just wasn't very quality cut. Some of it's alright, some of it not so much. I did order some different screws. I ordered some star-headed, button-headed star drive, 1.5" stainless tapping screws. So I have these roofing ones that'll get me going, but I just need to get it marked because each one's going to be different, right? Where it landed on these ribs. These ribs aren't necessarily aligned with their spacing, you know, with the plywood width. So I have to deal with that. But anyway, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start doing my markings. I think what I'm gonna do, 4 inches or 30.5. Alright, so that's kind of what I'm gonna do. Keep you in focus a little bit here. If I want to be right on that seam. $45.5. $45. So I want to be at 23.5 and 45. Okay. And that's going to be different from each one because the ribs are going to be different. The horizontals will be the same, but the verticals are going to be different. That's faux show. Hey. So I'm gonna need 1, 2, 3, at least like 9 screws per board, 3, 3, and 3. So I'll have 3 rows. Like in the case of this one, this is almost like one of the most odd positioned ones because it's got a pretty good gap on that end and it's probably a pretty good gap on this end given the verticals. So there's 4 ribs. So I'll do a vertical in that rib, a vertical in that rib, and pick one of these other 2 ribs. So I'll have 3 screws going down 3 ribs on each board. In some cases, they're going to be a little bit more compact because the outers, like this, the ribs are more inboard. This is almost a perfect one. Outside, middle, outside. Outside, middle, outside. And then it goes to a wonky one. Okay. These screws are fun. I don't know how many screws I want to put in of these ones versus wait on the stainless. I mean, these aren't bad screws. These certainly won't rust. Well, one of my first considerations is son of a beehive. So there's air breathers vents, right? But there's 3 rows. So there's another vent hole down. I'm gonna have to cut these because if not, I'm gonna basically block off 1/3 of all these top vents, and I don't want to do that. So I think I'm gonna have to jigsaw those out. So before I screw this top ridge in, I'm gonna have to cut those, notch the plywood out around those vents. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4.